right. So good morning, everybody. My name is Daniel Hughes. I am the broker owner of Bayport Lending. And today we have a call for our brokers and bagels, all about the introduction to the HomePrep, and the pilot that Pam and I have been working on with the people you'll see on the call today, with Indysoft and a few others. So today we have a few people that are going to explain what all this is. You've heard Pam talk about this in prior meetings and calls. But today we're going to kind of go a little bit in depth to it and really start answering your questions and seeing how this tool is used day in, day out. So today on the call, we have Pam Marin, with Innovative Mortgage. She's a loan originator. She's been the matriarch in a lot of this. She has piloted a lot of this and been doing this for a long time. And then we have Matthew Thomas, who is a HUD counselor. And then we have Dave Danelson, with eFiscal Networks, who will be talking to us about student loan debt relief today. So you'll hear from all these people. Also on the call, we have Hans from Indysoft. I think we also have Yogesh, and I didn't see if Darshan got on, but I know Yogesh
No,
got on.
Darshan won't be on, just your
Okay.
guest. So yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. So from Indysoft, and so today, again, we're going to show you the benefits of this platform and how it's going to help you and your clients. So HomePrep was kind of an idea that started based on how do we connect loan originators to HUD counselors. A lot of people in the industry don't even know who HUD counselors are. And, I go back myself 2 years ago, 3 years ago, when I first met Pam, maybe it's even been longer now, but I had no idea who HUD counselors were, what they did. And Pam was always saying, Daniel, you got to get to know these people. This is what they can do. Look how awesome this is. And it's blossomed into this. We met Indysoft, and it's just now turning into, now we're making this come to life. All those talks of how do we connect a loan originator to a HUD counselor? And you might ask, what can a HUD counselor do? I think that is a very open-ended question, because they can do a lot besides take the application and do the mortgage, right? They can do quite a bit. And we're going to go over a lot of those things of what they do. But today, again, we're going to talk about how to use HomePrep, which is the tool that we will utilize to connect you, the loan originator, to the HUD counselor and have all that communication into one platform. Like I said, you're going to hear from Dave here in a little bit about student loan debt relief. He's even connected in on the platform. How do we connect to them and about student loans? So we'll go over the services that Matthew and HUD counselors can provide and for your client, and how to select those types of services and what types of scenarios that you're going to go into. And I'm going to finish off, one of the big things that this tool is doing is the big concern that loan originators has is, well, I'm going to hand this client off to Matthew. What happens? How do I get this client back? What is Matthew really doing? The nice thing about this platform is, A, you have the transparency. And the second is you have a way of getting that client back to come back to you for the business once they're ready, what we will call home ready, or excuse me, that we will call, Pam, what's the mortgage ready? But that's what this platform will do. And you guys are going to get to see the behind the curtain scenes of it today and how you can use it and start helping out your clients. So we're first going to start off, what does HUD counselors do? What does Matthew do when Matthew gets this client in? I know a couple of weeks ago, you might have heard Matthew talk about some of the services. So Matthew, we're going to start, but first one is budgeting, probably the most important thing that we do. Give us a little bit about what's so important about a budget, and how do you start with the budgeting for these clients?
Well, thank you, Daniel. So basically, when we first start off with a budget, okay, it's very important because, of course, we got to go over all their expenses. We got to see what their proposed debt to income ratio is for starting out, so that we can see what we exactly need to do to help get the client to become mortgage ready. Because, of course, that's one of the main reasons why some people get denied for a mortgage is their debt to income ratio. And so we go ahead, we start off with that. We are also required by HUD to do a budget counseling as well with the client. So they will be getting a budget either way. But we go ahead, we receive a budget with their intake. When they get referred over to us, we reach out to them, we send them our intake, we send them our budget. Okay, and during that initial counseling, we do go over everything with them. All right, and we also do start out with a soft pull of the client's credit to, of course, go ahead, go through and see if, of course, all of the monthly payments are correct and kind of confirm that debt to income ratio. Okay. And we also use things such as Credit Experts, What If Simulator, and Wayfinder to go ahead and find out what's the best next steps for this client to get them to become mortgage ready. All right, and that kind of rolls into my next point here is with credit help. All right. We don't like saying credit repair. All right. But with credit help, all right, we basically go ahead, we help them by undoing their disputes, building up their credit, and of course, improving their scores by using those wayfinders and what if simulators, and as well as some of the credit builder programs that are out there currently. All right, because of course some of them they don't actually put an inquiry on the credit, so we'd like to take advantage of that. All right, because of course, we're trying to get them into a mortgage. We don't want to put any more inquiries on their credit. All right, and there is a short-term and long-term help for these clients, depending on what they need help with. All right, sometimes they need short-term credit, which is normally 1 to 6 months. All right, long-term credit help can be anywhere from 7 months to 5 years. All right, so your client can spend up to 5 years in the program. All right. And of course, we go ahead and we make sure that, it will, of course, we go ahead, we kind of confirm, how long it's going to take the client with their budget and their credit, comparing it to their what if simulator plan. All right. And we take their disposable income. We see how much money they can put aside to this action plan to see how long it's going to take them to complete. And, that's how we get that time frame for your client. All right. That's how we see if they're short term or they're long term. All right. And of course, with long term, we do have access to a debt management like consumer credit counseling. Okay, it's not debt settlement, but that can be one of the more long term options for the client. All right. And with our next topic here, with how we can help out your client become mortgage ready, is down payment assistance. All right. There are two ways that we are able to go ahead and help this client with down payment assistance. We can go ahead, they can work with us, a HUD approved housing counseling agency who uses Down Payment Connect, all right, which is a tool through the HomePrep IT platform, all right, to locate all the eligible down payment assistance programs that there can be for the client, including wholesale, retail, correspondent. We can take a look at all three of those to make sure, of course, the client is getting what they need. And of course, if you're wholesale, we're going to be looking for wholesale. Retail, we're going to be looking for retail. All right. And of course, each client has their own needs. So we're going to make sure that the client gets what they need. All right. We'll be looking into interest rate buy downs with the programs. We'll be looking into layering. We'll see if how many programs this client can get up to. All right. We want to make sure that that client can get into a home. All right. And we're going to do it the best way that we possibly can. And Daniel is actually going to talk about the other way to go ahead and actually find and down payment assistance for these clients. And just for a side note, we can search in all 50 states. So of course, we can search up wherever your client wants to go or is at.
So thank you, Matt.
Welcome.
What he is speaking of is Down Payment Resource has a tool that covers all 50 states that you can look up for any down payment assistance, any community programs. You'll have access to those programs. What happens is, so Matt as a counselor has access to Down Payment Resource for them to look up down payment, any resource that like again, community seconds, down payment assistance for your clients, or you can do this on your own. You can get a subscription to Down Payment Resource, look up for, if you're only licensed in Florida, you'll look up just Florida. Inside of that, I don't have, Pam, I'm sorry, I don't have
It-
the
You know
example.
what? It is over there. Look at that, the PDF. It says Pinellas County SHIP.
Perfect.
Yeah, right there.
So when you pull up down payment resource, or when Matthew does even, you will see all the, details of what this program entails and what does it take to qualify. So therefore, if it's a tax credit, no, it's not a tax credit. You can get up to 75,000. And I'm not going to go through this whole thing, but you can see that there's everything you need to know about this program is in down payment resource. So if you are a loan originator and down payment is in your wheelhouse, and if it's not, it should be, you should be using this they have landing pages, they have marketing material for you to start generating leads for down payment assistance. And this platform does it all. The nice thing about HomePrep is we connected that. So now Matthew, if he's working with your client with credit help, now he can go ahead and actually find them down payment assistance as well. If you need help with just finding down payment assistance because they're leaving Tampa, Florida and going to Utah, Matt can help with that, right? So there is a big array of tools that we have and that Matthew has that we can help your client not only here locally, but even if they end up leaving, or if you're licensed in multiple states, you now have a resource to start looking for down payment. Also helping your clients, even if they are in Montana, Utah, or wherever it is that you're licensed at. So a great resource. HomePrep is not just filling one need, it's filling a few needs. And that's what's great about this system is we're taking all those needs and starting to put them into one. And one of the things
Daniel,
yeah.
excuse me, could I do the screen, and I'm going to open up the PDFs when you need them.
Yep, go ahead.
Okay. All right. So let's get back here. Okay, thanks.
So that part with down payment assistance and down payment resource was one of the best connections because Indysoft has its own use and connecting to the HUD counselor. Now we add in down payment resource, which was a way for us to get down payment assistance into Matt's hands so he can now add that benefit to your client. The next one that we're going to go into is something completely new that you might not be really thinking about and what your clients need help with. First, I want to back up real quick is also homebuyer education. I want to state that we all know that your Fannie and Freddie products, if you're doing your 1% downs, if you're doing a home ready, a home possible, even some FHA products, you need home buyers education. Matthew and his company take care of that. They can do, again, this can fill all the needs for your client from start to finish. Matthew can find that home buyers education. They can facilitate it and make sure they're getting the right HUD certified certificates for those programs. Almost every affordable product or every down payment assistance, a majority of them, they require some type of home buyers education. So, you might be sending them off to some Fannie, Freddie, or just some random site. Well, now you have this resource, which can be part of the setup of when you get this client back. When we say they're mortgage ready, we're saying they are completely mortgage ready. But one of the services I'm really excited about, I've personally started doing this the other night once Pam exposed this to me, student loans. It's a big, just call it elephant in the room that we've always had issues with. You pull someone's credit and all of a sudden they've got 26 student loans on their credit report and you're like, oh my gosh, what did they do? They haven't consolidated them. The payments are now causing debt to income problems. Whatever the case may be, student loans come up quite often. And so Pam was introducing us to who you're going to hear here in a second, Dave. They take that issue and their platform gives us what you're about to see, a breakout of how we can help our client. You might be able to reduce their payment. You might, I don't know about consolidation, but this is now integrated into HomePrep to where now we just added another layer of service to help our clients. So we know, hey, if they have issues with student loans, here you go. We can get that student loan help. And Dave, I'm going to let you do what you do best is go ahead and explain kind of how you guys operate and what is it really, because literally last week I heard your name a lot. Pam's like, Damon, you got to log in and try it. I logged in and tried it, and I'm about to save $150 a month off of my student loans myself. So I know it works. So go ahead, Dave. Explain a little bit further.
Well, I couldn't get a better intro recommendation than that, Daniel. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yep.
Daniel, Pam, and everyone, thank you for the opportunity. I'm going to try to be brief, but what I'm going to show you is a little bit about how our program works, but I want to make sure that you understand some general concepts that are really important and very innovative here. Number one, our product, Student Debt Solutions is the name of the product. And you'll be seeing these slides. I have a few for you. There's links to our websites and contact information. So you get plenty of follow-up information. But what I'd like you to make sure that you're aware of is, number one, this is an innovative program, Student Debt Solutions. It's been in existence for probably 8 or 9 years. But over the last couple of years, we've modified it. We actually took advantage during the pandemic when there was no student loan activity to really reformat it and make something very innovative as a consumer self-service program. So historically, two problems happened with student loan relief. One, it almost always had to have a live counselor assistant. And number two, that made it expensive. So it took it out of the realm of most people. We've actually made this into a consumer self-service program that's easy to use, takes about 15 minutes. And think of it as we took the thought process and the decision tree that a counselor would do, and we put that into software. You can still get extra help if you need it, but what we see is about 90% of the time, our customers are going through the product without any problems. So number one, it's innovative and easy to use. Number two, it's integrated here. And I'd like to point out that this integration is very unique. Almost always you're going to find student loan relief, but in a standalone way. And the fact that we're doing our work, taking advantage of the information from HomePrep, doing our work, and then feeding information back to HomePrep means that as a loan officer or a counselor, you're looking at a complete picture of that client. You get a chance to see, what did we find out? Well, our goal is to try to figure out how to eliminate debt by finding a way to cancel debt. We also, if somebody's in arrears or in default, we give them strategies to get them out of default. Now, that's not happening today, but give us a year and there'll be lots more defaults. So we get them out of default, we help them find cancellation. We also help them find forgiveness programs, and these are based on their income, their student loan types of loans, their history of their student loans, and also their occupation and some other factors, short interview questions. So we're looking for all of that. And then we're really trying to identify what's the lowest payment that we can find by restructuring their loans. Should they consolidate? Should they not consolidate? Should they put these together because of that program benefit and not these over here? We do all of that behind the scenes to try to figure out, think of if they have multiple student loans, how do you restructure all those loans in a way that benefits the client the most? And we do go through that process of how to get out of default, how to find any cancellation, how to find some forgiveness if there is some, and then the remaining balance, what's the best way to figure out that repayment? And the final answer is, here's the lowest monthly payment we could identify. And so I want to show you some slides about that. And you probably are aware, if you're familiar with student loans at all, you're aware that the government has a site called studentaid.gov. It's a very good site, and it's actually pretty easy to use, but there's some differences. Studentaid.gov is really good at trying to help you figure out a program, maybe a repayment program going forward, but it's not necessarily trying to figure out, well, did you go to a school that was a closed school and you should be eligible for a cancellation? Were you part of a school that was part of a lawsuit or some sort of class action lawsuit? Those are and there's terms for all these, and I'm trying to skim over a few things, but we're looking for every aspect of how to put that consumer in the best possible situation to afford their loans and take advantage of all the programs that they have eligible for. So Having said that as sort of an intro, let me just zip through some slides pretty quickly. What's novel about what we're doing here is that, number one, it's integrated with the HomePrep software. So from HomePrep, you're going to click a button, and that button says refer to SDS. SDS is our Student Debt Solutions program. That borrower gets an email. So the integration has already created the account for the client. They get this type of an email that tells them how to log in. It's all highly secure and safe, and that's why we do some of the things that we do here. So they create a permanent password and move along. Then they get to this welcome screen. This is where we tell them, okay, here's what you're going to need to do. You're going to need to log into studentaid.gov to get that federal loan file. You're going to need to know a little bit about your income, answer a few questions for us, and set up some information about your family size, family income, how do you file your taxes. But it's not a lot of information, and we don't ask things that are what you would call PII. We're not asking for social security numbers and other things that are very sensitive. So we keep it simple, we keep it quick, and then we help them move through. So as we go through the program, we ask them a little bit of contact information. I'm going to go quickly here, and please bear with me, but you'll be able to see these slides later. We ask them their income, spouse income, filing status, family size. This is husband, wife, and a child. And then here's the important part. We ask them to put on the slider bar, what are your goals? Are you trying to get the lowest total repayment possible, even if it means a slightly higher monthly? Or are you trying to get the lowest monthly payment? This is almost always the case, but it's an important option. We expect people to slide it to the left and say, I want to find the lowest payment possible. And this determines how do we prioritize the answers that we give them later on in the program. We ask them to upload their federal loans. This is a login to studentaid.gov. We make it easy. We have them log in. They can log in with a lot of people don't know how to log in, or they maybe forgot their password. The studentaid.gov site makes it possible to create a new password. You can log in with your email or your phone number or an ID that you might have. So there's lots of ways. We have videos to show them how, and we have helpful text as they go through the process. So once they've uploaded their files, we now know their complete loan history. This is not a credit report. This is actually from the federal government that describes the history of their loans, how they've been repackaged, when they went in and out of forbearance, a whole history of their loan activity. Once we get through the questionnaire, and I've skipped a few steps here, but our goal is to then show them this page. Now, this page is about, we've found that currently you're paying about $680 a month, and that comes from the file. But we found a way for you to pay $0 per month. And that means your net savings would be $68. There is a payment for the SDS program, but it's only if someone sees this page and says, wow, that's a good deal. I'd like to figure out how do I take action on that. So if they decide to take action, we're trying to make it very obvious what their benefit is. It's a $99 charge, and then they would move on to a paywall. We again describe what they get benefits for, or what the benefits come with the program. And then they get into detailed selections. So we would have one or more, usually it's about 20 different possible options. How do you restructure your loans? What is the monthly payment, the total repayment, how much forgiveness happens, and how long will that be? And this is a not actually uncommon situation. This person's income was low enough, family size big enough, the work they did made them eligible for public service loan forgiveness after only 95 months. And their loan balance, because of their income, their payments were going to be $0 a month, but that was treated as a payment. So after 95 months, any remaining balance, i.e. 93,000, is forgiven. That's the government's public service loan forgiveness deal. Now, this is extreme, but very possible. This type of stuff does happen. This was an example that I put together the other day from a live file, an actual situation. So if they select this benefit, they've done their job. We give them recommendations. They choose what they think they'd like to do. and we take them to what's called a client dashboard. This gives them the instructions to take action. We tell them what their plans are. We give them a document that covers the details. They can share it with the counselor. They can print it out. They can go back and make changes because this account is live for a year for them. Their $99 means you have 12 months of access. If your situation changes, marriage, divorce, change of income, whatever, you can come back, make changes, and see if something better or a different situation might improve your lot. So we give them instructions on what to do. This upper right is what we call the doc prep tools. The federal forms can be a little complicated. Think of TurboTax. Nobody wants to fill out a tax form in detail. So TurboTax makes it so you answer questions and we fill out the forms for you. That's really what this is. It's included in the $99. And then last but not least, and this doesn't happen very often, but if they really wanted to talk to somebody who was an expert about student loans because they had a very specific question, they weren't sure how to take advantage of this, or they had a very unique situation, they can schedule a counselor appointment here. This is an uplift price because we're talking to a live counselor here, a half-hour session. However, this is a decision they can make and it's available to them. But again, it's not usually necessary. We consider this sort of a safety net, and we have a group of nonprofit student loan experts to be able to help them if they need it. Last but not least, there is this thing that we call an action plan, and this is simply a PDF that describes all of these steps, how to take action, how to make the plan a reality. I want to pause for just a minute and let you know that what Student Debt Solutions is doing is we're helping them strategize and find a program that will reduce their payments, everything that we just showed you. But the payments aren't, the new plan isn't real yet. The Department of Ed and the servicers require these forms that we filled out to be printed, wet signature, and mailed to the servicer. And somewhere within 2 to 4 weeks, we give them some guidance in our plan. They're going to get word back from the servicer, okay, your new plan is approved. That's when their payments actually change. So just want to make a note that just because we're helping them figure out what to do, they still have a little bit of work to do to make sure that that plan actually takes place. The last part of the innovation I wanted to share with you, which I think is pretty exciting, is as a HomePrep counselor or a HomePrep user, there's a little button here, and I'm sorry this is a little small. Hopefully you can see it. There's a little tag here called Student Debt Solutions. If you select that button, you're going to be able to see, because we've integrated very nicely with our programs between HomePrep, Indysoft, and us, you'll be able to see the steps that the user went through in the program. And this is important because number one, if they stopped after 2 steps, you might want to give them a nudge and say, hey, what happened? Do you need help? Or if they've completed the process, then you want to say, okay, what was the final answer? What did we find out here? And what we can find out, we've also shared the final sort of details. Okay, the plan where they're currently at, this is a different example, so bear with me. Where they're currently at is a monthly payment of $26.80. Now that's pretty extreme, but possible. The new plan that they selected gives them a monthly payment of $0. More likely, this would be something like they're paying $600 or $700, and now their new payments are $150 or something like that. That's the kind of stuff you would see. That new payment is what they can have as soon as they submit the paperwork. We never tell anyone a recommendation that they're not eligible for. So it's just a matter of filling out the paperwork, signing, submitting, and then waiting for that response back. And with that, I will, this action plan is also available to the HomePrep user as well. So you can see what the user sees. And because this is a really innovative integration, there isn't any other place where you can be really focused on someone's ability to get into a home and still be able to monitor their progress on this big barrier of student loans that many, many people have. And I'll leave it at that and let you know that we really appreciate the opportunity, and I hope that's helpful. On these slides, you'll have our information, and also there's a video of what this looks like as a user. So we've created a video that you can see, and we talk through it. so you can see what that looks like. Daniel, I'll pass it back to you.
Daniel, before you pass that off, would you mind if
Yeah.
I make a comment here?
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Okay, this student loan repayment plan system just came available probably in the last 5 to 6 weeks, where we were able to go live. And since then, I have got 4 clients as a mortgage loan originator. I've got 4 clients that one of them is looking for a home, the other 3 are not. And one of those 3 is an attorney, because all of these student loans are now coming back into play. They're going out of forbearance.
Yeah.
HomePrep has the ability to help clients that are looking for a home, and also help clients that are already in a home but still want to get that student loan repayment plan done. And you can do it right through the HomePrep platform. But here's what I found out. They go on, I have been actually going with my clients on a Zoom call and watching over their shoulder. Now, I've only done it once, but I've got 3 more, 2 of them this week. And what happens is the client sees their payment, their option based off of their input, before they pay a penny, before they pay any of that $99. And they can go back and they can change some information on the progress tracker, and then guess what? They get another option. When they so they can decide if they're going to go ahead or not, because if they don't think it's worth it, they don't go ahead. But frankly, it's pretty astounding results. My point is that we got this service initially thinking we wanted to get away, for when these student loans come available, that we get the payment down as low as possible. You saw one of those slides that had a slider where you could get the lowest payment or the highest payment. Obviously, when clients are getting into a mortgage right now, you're going to probably want them to get the lowest payment. But guess what? They have this service for a year. So after they purchase their home, and Daniel brought this up to me, he's got a client that wanted to escalate their payment. They don't have to worry about a mortgage anymore, so they can afford a little bit more. They want to do that. So your client can go back in and figure out what that higher payment is to get rid of that debt quicker.
Yeah.
And this, I think, is going to be a service that is going to be lucrative for clients that are already in their homes but need help with that student loan repayment plan. It's an astounding program. Just wanted to interject that.
Pam, I just wanted to add to that. When we estimate what is your total repayment, we're actually considering compounding interest over time during whatever the term is left. So a lot of times the situation you just described, somebody's now a little better off and they want to try to pay their loan off faster. A lot of times what we're doing, or what our software is doing, is finding a shorter term with a payment that, based on less compounding over time, ends up with a smaller amount of payment. There are people that want to say, how do I pay off my loan as fast as possible? Particularly in the doctor lawyer situation. But again, discussion for another day. But that's what that slider is about, to try to help people figure out, what is your objective here?
Thanks.
Thank you, Dave. So Pam, if you want to share your screen, and then Matt, once we got all this in and once all this is done, kind of give us a little brief overview of, just for everybody on the call, we're going to go into the program and I'm going to show you guys, what you've heard, show you actually how it's live in these systems. But Matt, tell us how we get those clients fully ready, get them through Home Coach, and we wrap it up with your counseling services.
Oh, of course, Daniel. So after they've, of course, gone through the credit building, they've gone through the budget process. All right, they've gone through down payment. We found what down payment assistance programs that they're eligible for. They've gone through SDS. They found out what payment they're going to receive. We can go ahead and we have access to Freddie Mac's Home Coach. All right, so basically what that is, it's comparable to your guys's LPA, Freddie Mac's LPA, loan product advisor, but it's ran with a soft pull of their credit. So with of course that being said, you're not getting called by anyone, you know, there's no trigger leads. We can basically see if there's any problems with that client in underwriting before they even, you know, come back to you guys. So if we see if there's any problems, of course we'll fix them. All right. But if they are mortgage ready and they get that approval accept, we'll go ahead, we'll update their status in the CMS in Indysoft's RX office, which we'll be showing you as well today. All right. And of course, we'll update their status there and you'll receive a notification saying, hey, your client's mortgage ready. You know, go ahead, you know, get into contact with them, you know, do what you need to do. All right. But we like to verify first. All right. We want to make sure that your client is in fact mortgage ready before you receive them, because of course we don't want that back and forth. You know, we want to make sure that they're mortgage ready as soon as they can go over to you. All right. And back to you, Daniel.
Thank you, Matt. So I kind of want to expand on that too. So you guys, I'm just gonna start sharing my screen now because I'm gonna go into it. You know, the whole point of this program is to free up some of the things that you're probably running into that are taking up your time. You know, we all want to help that client that's got really low credit and is ready to buy a home because they're really eager. They're really searching for help. They've probably been told no at least 5 times, and they've come to you and you're the last grasping hope that they have. And you're like, I have no idea how to even help this person. Great, but now you know of HomePrep. Let them take care of that. Matthew and his team and everybody there and other HUD counselors, they know what they're doing. And that was a big thing that I faced was, what do these people know? What are they really going to do for my client? For the last year that we've been on this pilot, a lot of those myths that I had were busted. They know guidelines. They know how to read an application. They know Fannie and Freddie. They know FHA. They know down payment assistance. You know, what I want to also be clear is these people aren't pre-approving your clients. These are for the clients that have been sitting in your pipeline and you're like, well, I don't really know where to start and how to help them. Right now, we're all looking for the next deal. We got to face it. The mortgage business is tightened up. Go through your pipeline. Oh my gosh, I pulled this credit and it was a 525, but they needed down payment assistance. They needed all these other layers of things. What do? Put them in HomePrep. Let Matthew and the rest of the service take care of that. That's exactly what this was built for. And it's only expanding. From the time of when we all first met, and this was just an idea, to Hans and his team over there putting this to real life, it is a night and day difference. And that's what I want you guys to think of this as. We've talked about all the services, but let's put them all together. Let's make it come to life. And that's exactly what Indysoft and HomePrep has done, is taking all those ideas and let's make it a reality. So you're sitting there and you're like, what do? Well, you get access to HomePrep. Okay, so what you guys are seeing on my screen right now is just a dummy dashboard. These are no live files, but you'll get a dashboard. On this dashboard, there's a lot of breakouts. You can see all the cases, most recent cases opened. You can see statuses here. I know I'm trying to follow my cursor, so bear with me. You can see who the user is. You can see what the status is here, counselor, case opened. This is your main hub. When you log in, this is what you're going to see. How many files I got in, where are they at in the progress screen. And today I'm not going to do a huge deep dive. I just want to cover the surface of what this tool can do and how it works. And how easy it really is to use. One of the things that we've talked about is, how do we make this easy for loan officers? I don't want you to have to come in here and spend 2.5 hours to get a client uploaded and ready for Matt. It should take you no more than 20, 30 minutes and you're out the door. Matt's getting ready to take over. That's the goal. So what we want to look at is how easy it is to upload, right? So uploading was number one. How do I get a file right here into Indysoft? And you're going to say it's super easy. So over here on your left-hand side, it's on my screen, it's minimized. You have 4 icons, but you can see the overview is the dashboard, but we're going to start a new case. At the top here, you have 3 ways of importing cases. I'm going to use the new case. Import cases, if you have a batch, again, you have that pipeline of clients and you've sorted them out to being, these people need some type of help. Credit repair, let's not use credit repair. Credit help. they need budgeting, they need student loan help, whatever the case is, you can bulk upload these people right into Indysoft. So if you have an Excel sheet, put it in here, HomePrep, you can name it. Now what you're going to do is just drop your Excel file, you're good to go. A lot of us use a LOS system, loan operating system, Calyx, Encompass, Arrive, Lending Pad, Lotusoft. There's a few out there. Whatever it is that you're using, I use Arrive. I think Pam, you guys are innovative around Arrive, or some of you, even if you've used Calyx, you're going to import, or you're able to export a 3.4 file, also known as a MISMO file. So you can upload a 3.4 file as easy as clicking the box and then going here, and I have one right here. And what I would do is just go ahead, file type, HomePrep, upload, boom, the client's information is. For today's case, I am going to show you kind of it's not manual, but it's the best way to do it to get in the most information right up front. So what you'll do is click HomePrep. The number one thing, inside the system, if you ever see a red asterisk, as you most know, is going to be, I got to have that completed. That information needs to be in there. So you got this client, you're like, I need to get them over to Matthew. I need them to call and start getting this program rolling. So right away, that client says, I need help with credit because I want to get into a down payment program, and we need some budgeting help. So the first thing you're going to do is click your services opted in budgeting, down payment assistance. And I don't know if it's short or long term. It could be either or. So we're going to just do short term. I got these three things. I write a note. This client needs help with credit for down payment programs. Something simple, just for the sake being. Now you can go in here on the right hand side and hit add client. Today, I'm just going to go ahead. You can add in all their information again, whatever is red we need for Matthew and to start the case. But you can see up here on the tabs that you have all these people. So you would just put in those few things. For me, I'm just going to already, for the sake of time, put a client in. So if the client's already been in the system and you want to start a new case for something, or there's some reason, you can go ahead and look up that client. I'm just going to say John, and we're just going to pick John case right here. Okay. And I'm going to click save. Now I have all their information in here. On Pam's page, clients to homeowners, and inside the system, we're working on putting some templates hopefully in the future. But these documents we've collected, a lot of this instance is you have already talked to this client. You might have already pulled their credit, right? What we're looking at is these are the main documents that you most likely already have as a loan officer that we want to get to Matthew. What you probably don't have in this list could be DU and LPA. If they had low credit, you most likely didn't run findings. You don't have the MOU. The MOU is the Memorandum of Understanding. That is the form that's probably the most important for you to understand that that's how I get the client back. This form, Pam has worked with, I don't even know the names of people, but so many people, so many ways, and done a lot of work to get that, to say, listen, the client and the counselor know if they go through the service, they're going to come back to Daniel. They're going to come back to Mark. They're going to come back to Pam. They don't have to, but they get an incentive to, right? You might be paying for the service. You're going to give them a closing cost credit. That's the way we get these clients back. And that's been a big feat for the HUD counselors, because Matthew, by nature, and what HUD requires him to do is to refer that business out. So this form is very important when you are using this system. Have that MOU, explain it to your client and why they should come back to you once they're done working with HomePrep and the HUD counselors. And then if you have the loan application, if you upload the 3.4 file, it fills out a lot of that. So we're going to go ahead and hit save. I'm going to agree to the third-party authorizations. I'm going to save, and it's going to go right into the case. Okay. Now you're off your dashboard. You're into a real life case. Now you're going to see all your clients' information. If there's an address, the date it started, their name, social, all this stuff. This is the platform where we're going to connect it to Matt. So we want this to be as detailed as possible, but also we need, again, these minimum things to get it over to Matthew and his team. So I'm not going to go too in depth again on all this. I just want to highlight the most important things, but also to show you it's very easy to get this system up and going and get the file over to Matthew in their team. So at the top, you have your menu bar up here. So I'm just quickly going to go through it. You can see, you can fill out as much as you want. If there's a realtor involved, if there's a closing company involved, all this stuff is going to come out. And the other side of this, I'll pause here, is once Matt's done, what is really cool is a lot of this starts getting filled out. You can see over here on the right-hand side, it's easy to get that information back into your system. We can export to 3.4 here. Matthew's already done. I get it back into my system. I have all that information filled out. I don't have to manually do it. Super simple. The loan assessment, you'll start seeing anything that has to do with AUS. When did they get it? But these two you've heard us talk about. Down payment resource. And I'm going to go into a file that will show these. And then also, you guys just heard from Dave, SDS is also right here. This is what Dave was talking about, how easy it is to literally just click this button and refer it right there for student loan help, okay? And I'll go into these test cases here in a second that show you the results that we see on these screens. So once all that's in there, you know, again, you have a toolbar here on the left-hand side. You have your counselor info, financial documents tracking. So right now, I'm actually going to jump to documents. If there's anything that you need to upload that's going to help the counselor, this is where it's going. PDF documents. If Matthew does a budget and you want to look at it, it's going to be in here. If you have their credit report, if you had any disclosure forms, if they've been through a divorce, you can see these are some main items that we might have that you will come up with, maybe bankruptcy paperwork, anything of that nature is going to get uploaded in here. And you can see these three dots. You can attach something just by clicking that and uploading a document right into it, okay? So super simple to use. Anything you can provide the counselor is key. As much information as they have, it makes their job easier, but also makes it quicker. Us loan originators hate waiting for stuff. We are impatient. We want the now. What do realtors want? They want now. They want, hey, Matt, when's this going to be done? We're hoping he said yesterday, but he's really telling us it's going to be 2 weeks. We want now. And we're not going to get that. But what HomePrep does is you get to follow along the progress. You get to follow along. We got to set real life timelines. We know some of this, as you heard, Matt, can take years. We hope it only takes months, and it's going to be case by case. But there's much information we can get over to the counselors, then that's going to make their job and setup a lot easier and maybe start changing our time frames. So any documents that are related to the file or need to go, you can go right here. You can upload documents again right through here, and export documents as well. Financial info, I'm not going to go too in depth in that. Once credit reports come back and they're involved and Matt does budget, you might see stuff right here, but I'm not going to go too deep into that. What's really important is, great, I got the client in here. I got everything I need. I need to get it to Matt. I need to get it over. I've got all the documents uploaded. They're ready to go. How do I kick this over to Matt? So here's all your counseling info. Once you have a counselor assigned and they start doing their work, you will start seeing all these documents, or excuse me, these fields filled out. The way you do it, once everything in, is go right here. Again, I know you guys are trying to follow my cursor. I wish I had one of those big highlighters, but this edit button right here at the top, you'll just go ahead and click edit, and this screen's going to come up. What I'm going to do, or hold on. Where am I missing? Pam, am I missing? All right, so 80%. Guys, where am I missing to give it to Matt to add the referencing guy?
I believe that would be on the that main case page. So one up from the counseling information, and the case info. Go back to summary.
There it is.
The
Thank you, Matt.
participant.
There you go.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you. Thank you. So that's once it's already in. Thank you, Matt. Click these three lines right here. We're going to click add participant. We're going to add counselor, and then we're going to add Indysoft counselor. Once I select that, you will see your progress tracker here change. You can see a counselor's been added right here, and here is the counselor. Any progress that Matt has made made is going to be right here. And throughout the entire process, you're going to see this kind of change. Pam, real quick, before I open up the other cases, anything that you might want to share with, you've uploaded a few files, how easy it is, how quick it is to get those clients uploaded in over to Matt.
The only tip I would give is keep the case number for each of your clients, because when you get a message back from the counselor, it's going to come to you with the case number of the client, not the name, for security purposes.
Good point. So you can see these case numbers are very important. As Pam says, you can see them. They're listed right here on your main screen. So if you're tracking this outside, maybe an Excel sheet, maybe in your LOS system, like Pam said, document that, because you can go up here to the search bar, and as you're going to see me do, is just put in a quick case number and then hit go, and it's going to pull open that case. I wanted to show this case because once all that stuff is done, Matt's done his job, we're done. The client's mortgage ready. They're ready to come back to you. As you can see that there's this progress tracker again, that you can see how it will keep you, what has Matt done, and when is this client ready to come back. And you see, we call it mortgage readiness. One of the things I want to show on this file is back to the down payment resources. If there was any down payment assistance that Matthew was able to find, it's going to be located right here. Okay. And what's really nice is you can even click these more details and you can see all the programs associated with it. And if I open one, it gives us all that stuff you saw earlier. It gives us all that information again, qualifying the websites to the company, what kind of ratios you need, where is it part of, all that good stuff. So the nice integration with down payment resources, Matthew gets to see all this and say, hey, we need to be below 45% debt to income, and they can't make over 80% area and median income. Cool. We have all that information listed right here. Matthew sees it, and you, the loan officer, see it. So it's not that Matt's seeing something different than you. We're both seeing the same thing right inside the platform, which is amazing. And then to Dave, what you guys heard him talk about today is the student debt relief. I'm going to show you on another case where that certificate comes in, but we can see again how easy it is to refer them. And then the one thing I want to show you on here is the Freddie Mac Home Coach. So like Matt was saying is, one of the big things we face is running LP. Eventually, hopefully down the road, we'll see DU come into play. But right now we're working with LP. Matthew, as a home counselor, can run LP on a soft pull. If you guys heard him say that earlier, he can run LP on a soft pull. As our industry is facing trigger leads, that is a massive thing to take, that if they're in this system, you don't have to worry about Matthew triggering a credit report and then all of a sudden they're getting blown up by 20 mortgage companies. And when they come back, we have this LP certificate. Okay, so you can see here's all the information, but we can actually open one of these LP certificates. I don't want the XML. There it goes. No, wrong file. Where's my PDF?
Daniel, you'll also be able to find those PDFs in the document section, because every time that we do run that home coach, it will automatically upload that document. So you'll click full feedback certificate right there.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So here's our LP certificate. You guys look at this, and this is what Matthew is seeing, is the same thing that you see from LP when you run your findings. So when that comes back to Matthew, he's able to see if it's been approved, eligible, their ratios, all the good information that we get, Matthew's getting. And again, this is all based on a soft pull. So that's really important to understand, is that when we say they're mortgage ready, a lot of companies, a lot of people say, all right, great, Pam, this client's ready to buy a home. We're saying they're really ready to buy a home. They're ready with their down payment assistance. And we know they're going to get approved because we just ran it through Home Coach. You're almost, we can't say guaranteeing, but you have a really, really, really high percentage of that client going through and getting a mortgage, which is really, really key. And I want to wrap it up because I know we're running out of time. So that's why I'm kind of going quickly, is showing you how the student debt relief comes back in. You saw Dave's screenshots of how that plan comes back, but you get all that right back into HomePrep. So if they went to Dave's company and they did their student loan and they got the action plan and all that payment screen, it comes right back into HomePrep. As you see, you have the action plan, and that will populate. And I'm going to open it up right here, and you can see here's all the loans they had. Here is the steps that it takes, and here is their current payment plans from what they currently have to what could happen, just like you guys saw in Dave's presentation. It's right here housed inside of HomePrep. So again, the point of HomePrep is to take all these services that are available to us that are, I'm going to tell you guys, underutilized, and bring them to one roof. That's really the gist of this entire software, is to say, listen, I want to connect to Matt. I want to connect to Down Payment Resource. I want to connect to Student Debt Solutions. You can, and you don't have to go to 3 different sites. You're in one. And then you take all that information, Matt gives it back to you, your client's ready to go. And if you want to hear a success story, talk to Pam. She had the very first client go from start to finish through Matt's services, ended up buying a home. And we learned a lot from that. But really, we know it works now. We can say it works. And I can only see this growing from here. So I'm going to stop there. I know we got only a couple minutes left. Now I want to open it up for any questions. The big thing is, what does this stuff cost? Right now, the cost is $99 for the pilot fee. As this grows, and I mean, Hans is on the call. I mean, the point is just to grow this, get this in front of loan originators. Right now, we need more test cases. We need real clients that need help to get them in and to get it going. And it's just going to grow, and you're going to get a lot of people on this platform. So people that are on this call and hearing it right now, I'm telling you right now, you are one, if not 10 steps ahead of a lot of the people in the industry right now, because once this goes out to the masses, it's going to be really hard. Costs might go up. We don't know. But right now, we want to get people on. We want to start helping these clients. Hans, I want to give you like a minute or two to kind of.
Thank you.
And
Yeah, so very quickly, my background, right? I worked for Bank of America, countrywide, Caliber. I was in charge of reviewing all underwriting, QC for Bank of America, Chief Credit Officer for Caliber. And the reason I mentioned that is I have been to hell and back. Okay, I worked for Countrywide during 2007. If you guys were in the business, that was unbelievable, right? I have seen huge layoffs in origination. It's cyclical, right? This is evolutionary, I'm telling you. And it's not because it's, Indysoft, right? We built a CMS system for Matthew, for counselors for over 20 years, right? We did not know that we have something that can actually help loan officers. We did not know that until we figured it out 3 years ago and said, you know what? You got counselors like Matthew who actually will be doing partial loan officer work, processing, underwriting, and sellable loan all rolled into one platform. Can you imagine? Okay. So now, if anything you get out of today's session, if you have customers who are 750 FICO, have no issues at all, hang up if that's all you have. The demographics of this country has changed, right? Everybody, mortgage origination is so complicated. I have gone through myself. It is unbelievably complicated. Matthew, and by the way, not all counselors are created equal, okay? There's a reason why NFDM is doing this with us, because they know what they're doing. So they are actually doing a lot of your work. Anyone who comes in with issues, credit, low FICO, why do you want to handle it? Give it to Matthew. they can do it all for you and hand you a mortgage-ready sellable loan. Okay? Student loan assistance, down payment assistance. They can pull CoreLogic credit expert, the assessment of what they can do to reduce debt, not credit repair. A lot of those companies are gone. They were fined and gone. Okay. So think about, and this is a marathon, guys. Okay. If you want immediate results, you're in the wrong business. This is how you build your pipeline. These borrowers will never forget you when they get a loan. All right. And Matthew has to follow up on them, right? This is not like hand it off. Here, you need to reduce this debt. I'll see you later. No, they actually follow up and help them because they got to keep them motivated. And then they become a mortgage ready customer. And by the way, they get educated. So they are sustainable mortgage owners. Isn't that a good mission, right? We're working with retailers today, big lenders who are going to be sending decline loans and also outreach loans to this group so that they can help them. So I know that's my 5-minute spiel, but if you want to do this long-term and have a great referral pipeline down the road, this is the way to do it. That's it.
Yeah,
Well said.
it really is. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing. One of the aha moments is go through your pipeline. Just go through it and just say, what happened to this client? Why was it? And you're going to open it up and you're going to see they had bad credit or they needed something you couldn't help them with. Put them in the system. It really is that simple and can do a lot for you. And just like Han said, it might not pan out for 3 or 4 months, 6 months, 8 months, a year. It doesn't matter, but you're building that pipeline because you know, Pam, how many people you have in the pipeline right now? 5 or 6, right? That's business for her in 6 months, 4 months, 3. They're going to trickle in once they're done. She does not have to worry about those clients anymore. She wants to follow up with them, obviously, and can use HomePrep. But now she knows in 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 months, she's got business coming in the door. And that is what's really important, I think, for
they will tell other people.
100%. Trust me, you talk about it, it works. But I want to give a couple minutes, open up. Anybody have questions on the call? Anybody else want to chime in, say anything, kind of free form it from here? Any questions? No?
Can I say one thing?
Floor is yours, Pam.
That's the positive. In addition to having a trained HUD counselor taking care of your client's problems, you've got a connection to that referring realtor until that client is ready to buy a home from that referring realtor. And for those of you that I'm surprised at how many loan officers don't see the automated underwriting system findings until their processor or their underwriter gives them the findings. You're getting the findings before the client's even going out with the realtor here. This is amazing that they can pull a Freddie Mac home coach similar to LPA and get an approval, and you've got it before the client's even going to look for a house. Best of all worlds here.
And hey, also remember, NFDM Matthew that works for a non-profit HUD-approved counseling agency. Their mission is to help the consumer. They do not have any other agenda. Okay, they are in good hands.
Perfect. Well, Pam, everybody else, Matthew, Hans, Dave, thank you guys so much. You're going to hear more of it. I know it's already starting to get out and the buzz is starting to happen. You got Freddy, Hans and them got Freddie Mac, Fannie involved. You got the CFPB looking at things like this. We're not talking, this is just small. This is going to be national. It's going to be very big. And it, like you just heard Hans say, you got big companies coming into play now. And, at the end of the day, all we want to do is help the consumer. If you do 1 loan a month, or you're a company that does 500 loans a month, it doesn't matter. The end goal is to help these clients and get them home ready, and get them mortgage ready to buy a home. And Hans, you said it perfectly. They're going to be educated, sustainable borrowers, repeat clients, things like that, that really help our industry, because we need it. Again, I can't harp enough. Please don't use any type of credit repair. You guys all know we don't want disputes. We don't want the issues that come with it.
Right.
That part is all negative. But what you get back from this is a client that you literally just saved hours of work for yourself. Your client's coming back ready to go, excited to buy a home, not dreading the painful process of a mortgage. They're going to be eager and hungry, and you're going to be making your realtors happy. Everybody across the board is going to be happy. And I'm excited to be part of it. So thank you guys for letting me be on this, be a part of it, because truly it's something I didn't realize until I met you, Pam, a couple years ago, and starting to see the need of clients. And it's exactly what I tell people, just talk about it. And I have a client that's wanting to refinance a home in 6 months, but doesn't have the credit to do so. So don't think it's just purchasing. There's so many ways to utilize this platform. If you have any questions, reach out to any of us on the call. Pam has our contact information everywhere. Indysoft is readily, Matt is easy to get a hold of. So reach out to any of us. We appreciate your time today, and thank you.